This is DMDY.
All right. Recording in progress. So automated. Anyways, what's up? How's it going? This is going to be the first live. No, it's not live. Recorded episode of DMDY. And this is going to go hopefully on YouTube. And I'm here with my buddy Totoro for the first part. But I fucking forgot to log on to my thing to see what I'm talking about today. But I know what I'm talking about today. So, first thing I'm talking about today, little monologue is how what logged me out of all my accounts on my computer? What the why did this happen? How did my thing reset? And it's reset to Spanish originally until, oh my God, my Google Chrome. I guess it updated. Wow. Anyway, so this episode, the first thing I want to talk about is getting out of a conversation I don't want to be in. I gotta say, that is the first topic. I was on vacation last week, so that's why I didn't necessarily market the best way I could. I didn't send out a poster, but an episode came out, so go check it out. It's on Spotify. This is the first one that will be on YouTube. And I'm sitting here in my hammock with Totoro. So what happened was I just I was in a conversation. I was at a hostel, right? And I was progressively getting drunker as one does at nights in hostels. Yes, I drank. I'm sorry. And, kids, if you're listening to this, I mean, I don't think it makes me a bad person. Shit, did I go in front of my camera? Fuck. Oh, well. YouTube, I guess YouTube's going to demonetize me with my cursing. That's a problem for another 1,000 viewers down the line. But what am I supposed to do when I'm in a conversation I don't want to be in? This guy started talking to me and he started talking to me about American politics. And I'm not going to get into what we were really talking about that much because it's unimportant. I'm not here to talk about my opinions on American politics. I just wanted to not talk about them at that moment. And I was there with a friend, and my friend found another person to talk in a different language with while we talked in English whenever he started talking like that. I wish it could be that simple that I could just say, I don't understand. That sounds bad. And I guess that's one way to not even get into conversations you don't want to be in the first place. Just not understand what they're talking about. I tend to have a bad tendency to, when people are talking and I don't know what's going on, just to be like, yeah, I totally understand everything that you're talking about right now. And it works effectively. And you can learn some new things like that. That's for certain. But maybe that's a way to get out of it. But I just didn't want to be there. And I was getting progressively drunker and drunker and drunker. And I didn't want to be there. And I ended up talking to this guy or being in this conversation for what felt like almost an hour. Now, time being relative, I don't know how long it was actually, to be exact, but it felt like an hour. And the reason why I didn't just get up and leave is my friend was there. And I didn't want to leave my friend. And also, I wanted to have the last word. It's funny how that is sometimes, not wanting to have the last word or not wanting the other person. Like, there's no problem. We were never going to agree on this topic, anyways. Politics in America, I mean, probably in every country, are extremely divisive. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we weren't going to agree on it, is there a point to talking? But there's a point to telling people your side that I kind of like, that I want to. Do you feel like, you guys, question for you, do you feel like you need the last word in a conversation? Now, I know not all conversations are created equal. There are some, like when I'm with a friend, it's much easier to just have a civil conversation, even if I don't agree. I think the day later, when I got back home, I was talking to a friend and we were talking about the US education systems and stuff like that. And that was a difficult conversation at the time. But I don't know, it just felt easier because it's not that I didn't trust this person. Having a little bit of trust issues on this trip, but it's, I don't know. I guess if I don't know the person, I don't want them to be right, to feel like somehow he's smarter than me. And this was an older gentleman who's not even American, which I'm sure there are people who are not American who know a lot more about American politics than I do. So the point is not that. The point is, I didn't want to be talking to him, I guess. And the subject is that my mind state was that I just wanted to do other things and it wasn't keeping me interested or, yeah, I just didn't want to be there. So, how can I end that conversation? Or how can you if you're in a difficult conversation? When I was thinking back to the situation afterwards, I mean, I'd never do this, but I was thinking, oh, just, I thought he was a little creepy. And I was going to be like, I'm going to out creep the creep. Just start talking, saying weird things. Now my mind went to pull my dick out and see what the fuck he does, which I would never do. And I'm not saying to do that, but maybe it would clear out the entire area. And, maybe I'd have the entire area to myself. It's a possibility. Hey, it's about ending the conversation. It's not about everybody thinking I'm the best person possible. So, yeah, uh, that's one way. I guess another thing, why can't I just say, I don't want to talk about this? And at one point, he did say, I don't think, I know you don't want to talk about this. This isn't good vacation topics, but it still ended up going on. And it may have been me dragging on the conversation as well. I'm not saying that it's only him who was doing that. I'm not trying to place the blame on anybody or trying to do anything like that. But I think I also played a part in this conversation going longer. Uh, I guess I could have cut it off at any point. That's for certain. But I just kept going. And to me, looking back, I wanted to get the last word. I didn't need to be right. It wasn't about making him think the same way that I did or someone telling me that I'm right. It's, I'm going to say the last thing, which looking back sounds very, very unimportant. I mean, he's not going to remember me anyways. And the only reason why I'm remembering him is because I'm frustrated. And it has no effect on my life. And I think made some good points. And I would think I had the more logical side of the argument. I'm sure he did. And it wasn't even an argument. It was just people talking. It was a conversation. And it was very civil. I just didn't want to be there. Ah. So, and what are other ways to think about? Because there are definitely ways besides just saying, hey, I mean, I have to go to the bathroom and just leave. That's a fairly amicable way. I mean, I was kind of tired, but because we were drinking, but I wanted to go dancing. But it's possible you could go to bed, I guess. Or there are definitely ways to extradite, I think extradite, or remove yourself from the situation you're in. And there are many excuses. I mean, I don't know why I didn't just say, I don't want to talk about this right now. And I guess that's probably the simplest and easiest way to amicably end that conversation. Hey, I'm not really feeling up to this right now. You made some good points. It was nice to talk about this with you, but can we talk about something else? This is just not what I want to do right now. And for the most part, it'll probably end like that. Yeah. So that's what happened. That was one part of vacation. And I'm gonna do a quick hat change for the next part. I'm gonna change hats based on the monologue or the regular shit. So quick hat change. Bucket hat time. Bucket hat time. Okay, now we on to the bucket hat. And oh my god. So how can you record with a bucket hat? This was a terrible, terrible idea. My headphones stopped working. Oh, and the headphones on top of my bucket hat. I gotta stop looking at myself. I've got to stop looking at myself. No, that doesn't work. Sorry if you're just listening on Spotify. I'm just messing around with my hat and my headphones. I think that's the best we're gonna do. I shouldn't have changed hats, but So goes it. Fucking head time. Okay, so today, the question I was gonna have is, how can I have or control? How can I have the best trip? So when I went on vacation, I had a good time, but I just ended up being a little frustrated, for various amount of reasons. And so my question was, how can I have the best trip for me? Because similar to this conversation, getting out of the conversation, it's how can I end up doing the things that are best for me? And it doesn't necessarily align with what everybody's doing. I mean, when I first traveled by myself, I was very skeptical about if I wanted to do that. It seemed scary. It seemed dangerous. And I ended up having a fantastic time. And part of that is because when you travel alone, you can do whatever you want to whenever you want to, which I find utterly amazing. I love that. And on this trip afterwards, and it doesn't mean I can't travel with people anymore. It's just if I'm not doing what I want to do at every moment, I mean, yes, people enhance situations. I'm not minimizing the fact that my friends had, and I had a great time with my friends. It's just I somehow have this way that I need to be doing what I want to do at every moment. There are sacrifices sometimes when you're traveling with other people. And you got to figure out what does everybody want to do or you can separate, which is fine too. We went and we went as what I thought was a group, but it seemed like we weren't necessarily all traveling together. Me and one friend were very committed to traveling together, and the other friend who planned the thing and who we assumed had a plan for all of us together wanted to do his own thing, which is fine, which is more than okay. I'm not trying to say that whatever vacation that guy wants to have, then go for it. You can do that. I'm not trying to stop you from doing anything that you want to do. It's just I didn't know that. So I wasn't as fully prepared. And I was more of the mindset that I'm going to be doing this together. So we're going to have a together trip and we're going to see. Yeah. So that was the question about how can I control my thing myself, because I ended up getting a little frustrated and it just ended up being a little more stressful and than it needed to be. And this is my 1 week off. So as much fun as I had, just ended up being a little bit of a difficult situation. So that's what happened. And also, one of my friends didn't tell us the whole truth. So we thought we had an extra night at this place because it was the same price it was previously when a couple of people dropped. And I'm not blaming him for that either. I mean, he wanted to do a thing. It was technically the truth. There's no reason, I guess, for him, if it benefits him, to not do it. Just it didn't sit well with me. And it actually really did kind of have an effect on the trip because that was a point when we were all together and we just didn't feel as comfortable with him. And when you're sharing a house, we shared an Airbnb and sharing things together, you want people you're comfortable with. Even if I don't know them that well, I tend to be fairly comfortable around people and I trust people. And I think people are my friends, even if I don't talk to them for a long time. Like, I think you're my friend for a while. Like I might not see you often or we might not talk often, but hey, if I go to your city, you better believe I'm texting you and we're going to hopefully be able to meet up. So I guess it didn't end up happening the way I envisioned it, but still, I can control things. There are things within my control. I can't control how he sees the vacation for him or how other people want their vacation to go. And it might be entirely different plans. But the one person that I can, and then if you go on vacation, you control what you do, it's about yourself or myself. So I can control the time that I have, right? I can, yeah, if I'm not having a good time, I can change something and maybe make it make it better. Do the things that I want to do. If I want to go walk around the city, I can go walk around the city by myself or with others. If other people want to come, they can. And if other people have ideas, I think at least my friend and I, we just wanted to know the plan and we'd be happy with whatever plan came up. We were going to have a good time. We thought that he knew things. And that's maybe assumptions that I shouldn't have. You can have whatever assumptions, but if they don't hold up, then I have to take it into my own hands. I can still make that vacation amazing, and you can too. So, how do I find out what is the best thing that I want to do? And I'm a very, nah, how do I say this? I think it's a very much a feeling thing for me. Like if I want to relax, I'm going to relax, not too much. If I want to go walk around the city and explore, I'm going to go walk around the city and explore. I just depends on how I'm feeling in the moment. If I want to meet people or talk to people, I'm going to go talk to people or drink with people. That's me. I'm a fairly social person who enjoys learning about other people and spending time with them. Though not too much. Well, not too much, but just not every conversation is necessarily going to be exactly what I want to talk about. And that's okay. Holy shit. This screen is blurry. Sorry. Just seeing a lot of things. But what was I frustrated about? I'm going back. I guess you can start with reflecting on the trip or how to have the best trip and things going wrong to see what am I frustrated about and whether it's in my control or out of my control. Right? So if I'm frustrated, oh, this dog's rolling around, so cute. If I'm frustrated about this other guy doesn't want to hang out, right? And he's off doing his own thing. And I'm frustrated that he maybe didn't have the idea of us traveling together when we planned to go to these places together. Even if we weren't in the same hostel, we were planning, to do that. However, I can't control what he does, as I was saying. And I can be frustrated that maybe this isn't the experience that I wanted. Yet I can take back the control, and maybe it's the lack of control of what's going on. Lack of control is something that I'm discovering is more and more of a fear of mine. I mean, I was riding a motorcycle for the first time, and even though I was with this guy who's ridden a motorcycle thousands of times before, I was still scared that somehow we were going to crash. And I'm not saying motorcycle crashes don't happen and they're very dangerous, but I would feel better if I was driving the motorcycle the first time by myself, even though I'm on the back of this guy who's driven many times. And that's a total lack of control thing. So I thought the vacation was kind of spiraling out of control. And so I started to take it back. And it's, I guess, not letting the vacation play you. Like if he had plans for the entire week, I guess I would have gone with them. And maybe it's a lot expecting someone to plan an entire week of vacation. Actually, that does sound like a lot. If someone asked me to plan an entire week of vacation, it would be very difficult for me. But that's what I thought was happening because he's the one who wanted to go there. And he's the one who wanted to, he's the one who wanted to go there and he's been there before. So that's why I deferred to him at first on what we should do or what was going to happen. Because I thought he had an idea. And he had an idea of some of it, but for the most part, no, he had the idea of how to do things by himself, which is, again, different people have different things that they want to do. And if this is the best vacation for him, I'm not trying to stop him from having a fantastic time. I guess my only thing is that I can do that. And it kind of blindsided me though. And so it took me a second to really think about how to move forward. And eventually I just decided to move forward without him. Me and my other friend, we planned together, we did everything together, and that went really well. That went extremely well. Yet at that point, it was like halfway through the trip and I was already being frustrated. And traveling while frustrated, oh, it's starting to rain hard here. It's just a not fun thing to do at all. It's unwarranted stress when you're sleeping in hostels and you're being tired. It's just difficult. So how can you or how can I some techniques for taking control? I guess it's just plan things. And there's a balance between letting other people plan things or having to plan everything yourself. Oh, it's starting to rain harder. But if I just look things up, if I spend maybe take 5, 10 minutes out of my day to say, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I want to see, then yeah, I can definitely do that. I can definitely spend 10 minutes being like, hey, you want to do this together, or you want to do that. You can spend a minimal amount of times. I know it's busy when you're traveling or just in your day-to-day life, but 10 minutes is not a lot of time where you can piggyback it off of something. I was reading the book Active Habits. I finished it. And one of the things he talks about is habit stacking, which means you brush your teeth. Well, then you're going to, after you brush your teeth, meditate. Or after you brush your teeth, read a page of your book. Just stacking these habits to do things. So maybe after you finish writing a paper, if you're at work, or after you finish a good 30 minutes of work, you then take 10 minutes to start. Oh, this dog wants to go back inside. I already know. Go inside, buddy. Go. You spend 10 minutes thinking, what am I going to do next? Or what are the things that I truly want to do? The other thing that I find difficult is, where does blame go? Because my mind always jumps to blaming someone else and or myself. I mean, it could be either one, but to me, most of the time, there is no blame that needs to be put anywhere. It's people who want to do their own thing or things that make sense to them, because people usually don't have it out to do bad things to other people. Like, I don't think, as much as I'm frustrated with my friend, I'm still calling him a friend for now. As frustrated as I am with him, I don't think he was trying to be malicious or anything like that. That's just the way he is. It's not like he was trying to do bad things to me. And I try to remember that when I'm either appropriating blame or I'm appropriating anything in general. Is blame even a good thing? I don't think blaming is a good thing, because then I end up going down this rabbit hole of trying to or trying to feel, I guess I feel a little victimized, or I yeah, of trying to feel victimized. So, and then blaming myself, then I'm just doubting myself and saying that I did something wrong, which I'm always trying to do my best. And I don't know if you guys are trying to do your best, or if you end up blaming yourself. But if you are someone who ends up blaming yourself often, take a minute, take a deep breath, think about, did you actually do something wrong? I mean, this is what happened a couple weeks ago in my meeting. I thought I did something really wrong, and I was worried when I actually did nothing wrong. So blame is something that oftentimes I don't think should go anywhere. I mean, I guess when I think of sports analysts or people talking about blame, yeah, there's maybe someone who made a bad play. You can try to have a scapegoat, but it tends to be more than one thing. It tends to be lots of people, and it's easy to place the blame on something obvious, either blaming myself or blaming him. Blaming myself, saying, oh, I could have seen this coming. I could have prepared better. Blaming him, saying, why did he not tell us the whole truth? Because I don't think they're being malicious. And I don't want to, even if they are being malicious, I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that people are trying to be mean. I think that one of the biggest things in my life is having authenticity, or having authenticity. And my authentic self does not want people to be like that. Now, people will reveal who they are. Like him, I would not go on a vacation with him again. But that's not because I think that it's entirely his fault or things to blame. Even though I want to, like, I can change how I think in the future, but you can also change the perspective on the past. And this is a guy who really likes adventure and really likes lots of things. And it was a good trip. So maybe I would go on a trip. No, that was just a little too stressful. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about is how can I trust people? And this is on vacation or in general, because I felt very untrustworthy at times. Like people were trying to get or take advantage of me. And this seems similar to the placing blame or thinking people are malicious in the way that I think there's nothing I can do except I want to trust people. Yeah, I can use my best judgment. Yeah, the Nigerian prince probably isn't doesn't need my help. Okay. Or I mean, there maybe there's a Nigerian prince. It's just one of the scams or something. Or like I see all these things on Instagram now popping up about how they make crypto. Or I know some people who have gotten scammed. And those people, okay, I don't trust those things, but people I meet, people that I've talked to, I tend to trust them a lot and I don't want to not trust them. And I think that I was just thinking about it. No, I don't know an exact number, but to me, most people, I wrote down 99% of the time, which is probably a little bit of a high percentage and optimistic percentage, but a lot of the times they can be very trustworthy and it's going to all work out and you may actually you may have an even better experience. But I can't panic that it won't work out and then I'm just not going to have a good time anyways. All I can do is be trustworthy and if something seems off or something's happening, I can use my skills to the best of my ability. Do you guys have issues trusting people? Is it difficult? Gotta stop touching myself. It's now going to be on YouTube. And I mean my face for people listening. But do you have issues trusting people? And how do you get yourself to trust people? I know there's some people that you need to trust. And I know like in a group project or something like that, or things working together, you have to trust that things will get done. You can't always do everything by yourself. And yet it doesn't always work out. I don't think the answer is anything else because I mean, maybe people aren't capable, but there's lots of factors. So, how can I be more trustworthy? And I think it's just committing myself and just being that people aren't out to get me because they truly aren't. It's just I tend to remember, and I don't know if you can, it might be a psychological thing, tend to remember the worst things that happen. I remember the times when people didn't have my back, when people didn't do things that they said they were going to do. That's what I remember. Not the times when I had great opportunities or experiences because I trusted in people. And the other thing is the self-trust, because if I trust myself to get out of any situation or to do well in whatever situation that I trusted someone and they put me in. And if I can't trust myself, then can I trust anybody? And I'm going to do a whole another episode on self-trust and just thinking about things like making lists of what I've done well and what I've done bad. But I think if I can't trust myself, then how can I trust anybody? And I just want you to think about if you trust yourself or how can maybe start trusting yourself more. And it's difficult because everybody does things they haven't done, but you have to trust your instinct. Or I have to trust my instinct that I will be able to do what happens. So thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, review the podcast. Follow me on Instagram at reluctant. Nope, that's my old Instagram. Sorry, at DMDY pod. On Instagram, I post posters. I'm going to try to post more. And follow me on TikTok at DMDYDU. I'll put it in the episode description. I'll put it in the YouTube description. And thanks for so much for listening. Have a fantastic week. Yeah. And see you next time.